Erica Michelle, we're getting started here shortly. Super excited about the two lives we have going on this evening. We'll be talking about sound baths, breathing exercises, at the 5 o'clock hour. And then during the 6 o'clock hour, we'll be meeting with an educator who will be talking to us about youth advocacy and all things education system, how we can help the youth, and just bettering our mental health overall. So I want to start off by welcoming everyone to the MZO Worldwide Mental Health Awareness Takeover. Today, we have a very, very exciting guest with us. Jennifer Blooms of Bloom Holistic Healing will be joining us today to speak about all things sound bath and breathing exercises. And, this is an exciting topic for me because I am green when it comes to sound baths. But I'm really excited about hearing all the ways that sound can impact and benefit our mental health and bodies, and wellness overall. For me right now, I'm in the process of getting my yoga instructor certification, and so sound incorporation is something that I'm looking forward to learning more about. And so I'm really, really, really excited for Jennifer to join us. I want to introduce myself if you do not know who I am. My name is Erica Michelle. I'm the Director of Operations for Members Only. I am a singer and also a wellness advocate. Me personally, I've had embarked on the holistic journey to heal my body when I was diagnosed with endometriosis back in 2017. And at that point, I had decided to take the holistic route and had done a lot of research on ways to heal the body outside of, Western medicine and medication. So I really love the fact that we're going to be able to speak about this topic. If you don't know, Members Only Worldwide is a multimedia company. We specialize in branding and marketing, leadership and coaching, magazine production and publishing, events. We do trading. We also sell apparel, and we also have a community outreach department. And again, I'm super excited about bringing this live to you through our community outreach program. And let's get into it. So sound bath healing, it's the use of, either crystal bowls or metal bowls or gongs, rain sticks. I know Jennifer will go more into depth with us, but it's the use of these instruments to use the frequencies that they produce to heal the body. And there are a lot of benefits through, doing sound baths, in the room with the actual instruments versus doing it virtually, but there are still a lot of benefits of doing it virtually. I do a lot of meditations that have these instruments in the background, and it's always beneficial, but there is a feeling that you get when you experience these sounds in the room with you. There's a lot of research on the benefits of sound bath. It is something that is new to us in the Western world, but it's something that has been around for a long, long time outside of Western, civilization. So now I want to bring in our guest, Jennifer. She is a teacher, a speaker, a sound healer, and a breathwork facilitator based out of Los Angeles. She uses family theories, human development, and psychology in her approach to help individuals, families, and communities. She's an expert worker with individuals dealing with grief and loss. Jennifer has over 10 years of hands-on experience with the communities all over Los Angeles, and she has deepened her understanding on self-care practices, behavioral change, esteem building, and her mission is to help families and communities heal from the inside out. She has a master's degree in science in family and consumer science. She also has a bachelor's in science in community health education and school health education. She, among all of those things, she also is a yoga instructor. Um, and she has completed different trainings on trauma healing and transformation. So I'm really, really excited to introduce you all to Jennifer, and I'm going to get her on right now.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us and
Thank you.
all things sound bath and breath work. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. Thank you for that lovely introduction. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, I do want to give you the floor to be able to introduce yourself. So yeah, go ahead and tell us about yourself.
All right. Thank you. You said a lot of amazing things, and I appreciate it. Yes, so I am a teacher by trade, but I am also a sound healer and also do yoga, and I'm a breathwork facilitator here in Los Angeles. And a lot of people, especially people of color, are really, really new to sound healing. They're new to breathwork. They're just unfamiliar with these holistic modalities that have been used for centuries, and we are just now like getting we're learning the benefits, and we're also learning how powerful these tools are, because in the Western society, we're used to putting a mask over our problems. We don't get to the root of our things. So we're using pharmaceutical drugs. We're putting, all these medicines in our body that are not natural to heal problems that could be solved, with the holistic modalities, getting to the root of a lot of our issues. So the crystal bowls, I don't know if you see it. I have a 432 hertz crystal bowl right here. And I also have, this is a smoky quartz. This is tuned to 528 hertz, which is a higher frequency. So just a little bit about the frequencies if you're not familiar with it. If you think of like the regular music, like the classical music, those music that you hear in the spa, they're tuned to a certain frequency, which is either like a 432 hertz, 528 hertz, or even up to 728 hertz. So these frequencies, they naturally relax the body. If you're listening to some hip hop music, that makes you want to get like pumped up to dance, right? But then if you listen to these other sound frequencies, they make you want to relax. And so I'd say it's like a cheater's way to meditate. So people really are trying to tap into meditation. They want to learn how to be still and silent their minds when they're dealing with a lot of anxiety. And so these crystal bowls and these, the frequencies of 432 hertz, it's just like a cheater's way to meditate because they naturally relax the body. And so when I'm playing these instruments, I'm doing breathing techniques, I'm doing guided meditations. I'm just getting them, getting their bodies just ready to completely relax and to just drop what's going on in their mind and to be still. So it's just a powerful tool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait to hear them. What or why did you choose to become a sound healer? Like, what inspired you?
Yeah, that's a great question. Wow. So, oh my gosh, it's probably almost 5 or 6 years ago. I lost my brother, I lost my favorite aunt, and I lost my nephew all within less than a year. And the deaths happened very suddenly. And also, like, the circumstances behind the deaths were just really traumatic. My brother, he had a heart attack, and we didn't know that he had passed because we were calling because he didn't live in the state. So 3 days later, he was found and he, had passed away. And then maybe like 4 months after that, my nephew was killed. He was hit by a car and it was all over the news. And it was just like the most traumatic experience, like a dream. It's like, wow, like how can you actually experience so much pain in such a short period of time? And so I just found that my mind was just wandering. I had so much anxiety. I was just so stressed. I was worried about my family. And then my aunt, who also passed, she had passed of breast cancer all within that time period too. So it was just like so much sadness around me, so much anxiety, so much depression. And I wanted to find a way to relax because I was like, this is not normal. I don't want to stay feeling like this. I need to find a way to cope and heal. And I was already like starting to like learn about meditation. I was just like, I don't know how to meditate. Like I was reading all these books. And then I kept practicing and I was just like, I can't do it. I can't quiet my mind. It's so hard. Like I need to find a way. I was like, I don't want to go to therapy. I mean, I do want to, I mean, not that I don't want to go to therapy. I didn't want to go get like on pharmaceutical drugs or anything like that. I wanted to find a natural way to heal. So long and behold, I was on Instagram scrolling and then there was a pop-up that said sound baths. And I was like, oh, what's that? And I looked at all the benefits. And I was like, oh, I need all of that. Relaxation, calms depression, anxiety, all those things. And so I went and signed up for the class, experienced the class. The following weeks after the class, I was just completely zen. I was just so present. I was so still. I literally felt like my frequency, my vibration shift 1,000%. Like I just felt so renewed and I was present. That was the most important thing. I was like, oh my gosh, like all these thoughts are just gone. Like I'm still and I'm present. And I was like, oh my gosh, like the whole world needs to experience this. Everybody I know needs to experience this. And so, you know, when my schooling with, you know, dealing with family studies and education, and I just observing everyone in my life that I worked with or in my communities, they all struggled with something, some sort of anxiety, something that was stopping them from reaching their full potential. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like this is what everyone needs. Everybody needs to learn how to meditate and be still and have more control of their mindset and, you know, be more intentional with their life. So I took all that I learned and I incorporated in my classes because my classes, I do the sound bath meditation, but I also speak and teach. And that's what I think differentiates my classes from other sound bath classes, because I also give a lesson in it because I want them to go away and use this for the rest of their life so they can impact the people in their own homes and also impact the people in their communities as well. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I want to, say, sorry for the passing of, you had 3 family members back to back. I can't imagine, the experience of, working through that and healing through that process. But it's, really encouraging to hear that you didn't take those situations as a way to just, let the anxiety and the stress, take you out, and you found tools to help you work through that. And not only did you use the tools to help yourself, but now, all of the men and women that you're impacting through, the experience that you're bringing here in Los Angeles. So, I'm super grateful for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. What inspired you to use, because I learned, today, though it's in your bio, I don't know why I didn't ring to me that you're an educator, but your degree and your experience with, family theories and human development and psychology, I know you talk about using lessons through your sound bath, but how do you incorporate that, and what inspired you to, mesh the two?
Yeah, growing up, I've always been like curious of like how people cope and how people deal with things. So I was just very like observant. I was just a observant child growing up, observing people's emotions and their reactions to things and how some people are resilient and some people are not resilient. So that inspired me to like get into the psychology and the family consumer sciences, like understanding family dynamics. I come from such a large family where there's so many things always going on with each and every one of, everybody, they have their own different lives. They have their own different traumas and challenges that they're dealing with. And then they all have their all blessings as well. So it's just like really important for me to just like understand, because I was always seeking to understand something. So now that, I've been able to be introduced to sound healing and dealing with my own, struggles, I was able to merge the two to kind of, help people understand, because you want people to thrive, you want everyone in your life to thrive. You want your friends, your family, your communities to thrive. but we all have trauma. We all have these things that we're dealing with. So it's interesting that, you know, I did those studies, but didn't know that I was going to end up doing this, and how they all interconnect, because this is, you know, people need coping skills. People need something to go to help them, you know, get over a bad day, or deal with a death, or deal with a loss of a job, or anything. So yeah, it was just my own, like, that's just like, it's like a gift. Like, you know, it's like, you know, you have your gifts and talents. It's like, that's what I love to do. It's just like help people. So that psychology and the sound bath go together.
That's amazing. The being an intuitive mind and wanting to learn people and study people and be able to help, you know, is such a blessing, and it definitely is a gift. So it's awesome that you've been able to tap into that and utilize all of the tools and resources that you've acquired, you know, through your life so far. Um, what are some of the daily mental health challenges you've witnessed sound bath being able to heal?
So definitely the number one is anxiety. You know, I use these sounds sometimes in my classrooms too, because, you know, the kids can be coming in and maybe dealing with something at home, and they're just busy all over the place, and maybe, you know, upset about something. So when I just play the music 432 hertz, you just literally see a complete shift in everyone's behavior. I'll give another example. So at my school, there's 3 different classrooms, and the 2-year-old classroom, at the beginning of the school year, a lot of these children were coming in, you know, pandemic babies. You know, they hadn't been away from their homes, they hadn't been away from their parents, so they're in this whole new setting, and they're just experiencing so much anxiety. So a lot of tears, a lot of crying, right? And I went to those teachers to coach them and say, you know, how about you play this music when at drop off time? After I told them that, oh my gosh, what a shift in all the children's anxiety. They were so more calm and relaxed. They literally played it every day for like those couple weeks at the beginning of the school year. And the teachers would come up to me and say, Jennifer, thank you so much for telling me to do that, because they're so different. And they just literally adopted that into their classrooms too, you know, along with me, you know, that I do. So it's just, you just see the, you know, the change right then and there. And again, from my own experience and people that I know specifically who've experienced the class, along with even the girls that I've trained, you know, they, you know, it's a difference in their lives completely. And that's partly why I call my business Bloom, because I felt like I was blooming from the inside out. So that's why the bloom comes in too.
Love it.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Yeah, and you bring up infants. In my experience, I went to school for music ed, and I did infant. You know, I did pre-K 3, but I also did infant classes with a daycare that I worked with in New York City, and I definitely know the power of sound with the
Mm-hmm.
infant and
Mm-hmm.
transition. So that's awesome that you bring that up. And uh, more on the experiences that you've had with the adults that you know, teach. When you are those like just group settings? Do you do privates? Is that, you know,
Yeah, so
that?
I do all types. I've done a festival recently. I do private classes, I do community classes, and I also do private. So I'll speak about the transformation of a girl that I've done private sessions with. I would do breath work, a combination of breath work and sound bath, which is even more powerful because, you know, I'll explain a little bit about breath work. You're literally pushing out some stuck energy, traumas out of your body, because our body is energy, you know, and you get enough energy, you create matter, and we got our human bodies, right? So when we experience trauma, the trauma gets stuck in our organs, it gets stuck in our tissues. We have so much ancestral trauma, people of color, you know, and when we hold on to it, you know, it creates illness, it creates mental illness, it creates cancer, it creates all these, you know, different immune deficiency diseases, you know. So it's so important for us to release, because since in society we've been taught not to cry, we've been taught to try to, you know, hold your head up high and, you know, be strong. But that's so wrong, because it's like we're keeping all that trauma inside our bodies and not releasing it. So going back to the private and seeing the transformation in that, you know, allowing a person to cry and hold space, you know, allowing these emotions to actually come up and be released, and they feel like it's safe. You know, I also, in my classes, there's like a scream therapy component where you get to scream everything you want out, like let it out. Like this is the time and space to release that trauma. And the experience people get is that they have this whole mental clarity. They're just so present. They get, like, I call them downloads, like from God. I call them downloads in the sense that they now know what to do, how to move. They can hear, they can see, you know. If you're familiar with the 7 chakras, it's like clearing those mental block, those energy blocks that are like in our body. So man, people just, I notice, who've experienced the class, like they're stepping more into their power. They're more resilient. They're able to control their thoughts more intentionally and not reacting to life. So I mean, it helps on so many different levels. People get clarity about maybe it's something that happened in their childhood, in their past. I remember my first breathwork class. Something from when I was like in preschool came up, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was there. That trauma was there. And I got to acknowledge it, feel it, and heal it. You know, we have to feel all these different things that we've stuck inside of our gut, you know? So yeah, people, I mean, it's just transformative. And I feel like, you know, again, you know, science is catching up to it, but even more importantly, like now doctors and nurses and like all these professional psychologists, I've done work with psychologists, social workers, doctors, nurses, like they all are understanding the power of it. And a lot of the women that I've actually trained are nurses, and they know the power of it. So it's like even incorporating that into the healthcare setting is even more powerful than giving them all the drugs, because it's just a Band-Aid over something, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's so powerful. I know for myself, I've learned over the last, you know, few years, and even more, you know, importantly, the last few months, like just the impact of being able to still the mind and being able, you know, to implement breathing exercises and work through trauma and things of that. Even incorporating, you know, now my yoga practice and being able become an instructor myself, I definitely see the benefits. And then, you know, like I said, love sound. Music is my thing. So, you know, understanding how powerful purely just sound can be, you know, for our healing is exciting.
Yes, yes.
Before we get on all into the fun stuff and being able to hear it, can you tell us more just about the benefits regarding mental health, and specifically the difference? Because this was an interesting article I was reading on sound bath. There was a lot of opinions, and even now in our world, we live in this virtual, we're transitioning right into you know, more virtual setting. So are there any differences, you know, in physically participating in a sound bath versus, you know, sound bath through like the YouTube meditations, or a sound bath through a virtual setting like this?
Well, I would say obviously being in person is way more powerful, because you're actually in the present state of actually feeling the vibrations right then and there from the actual crystal bowls. But if you're doing it online, you still reap the same benefits. I just think that being in present always is way more better, but there's not to say that, you know, you can't still feel the same experiences virtually too. I know sometimes with technology, it doesn't always make things sound good too, with the different sound waves and frequencies. So you would potentially, you know, have some sort of a back sound, or, you know, some issues with that. But ultimately, if you can't find a way to get to an in-person class, I definitely recommend go ahead and do the virtual classes. Go ahead and do the online classes. When I first got into it, before I even had my crystal bowls, I would just play the 432 hertz on my from like YouTube, and just like play that all the whole time I'm at home. Like And I'll just be floating around the house, like very relaxed, so zen, like not a care in the world. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, everyone needs to experience this. Like, this is how life should be, you know, versus all the trauma and all the worries that are just, you know, happening in our world and our society. So, you know, finding that safe space and making your home sacred with these sound frequencies playing regularly is just, it's powerful.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you for covering that, because it was an interesting article. It's like I never really like thought about it until,
Mm-hmm.
because that feeling the vibration, because I know for me, like even having like my portable speaker and feeling
Mm-hmm.
the bass when I'm listening to music through the portable, you know, just feeling the vibrations is always comforting for me. So
Yeah, yeah.
in the room with you. Before we transition into hearing all the sounds, I do want to mention that we are raising money for the Mental Health America. So if you do want to donate, just go ahead and hit the donate button. And now Jennifer's going to go ahead and give us some demonstration and, you know, educate us. So I'm going to hand it over to you.
All right, sounds good. So everyone who's joining in, if you are not driving, go ahead and take a moment to just be still. You can sit down wherever you are comfortably. You can go ahead and close your eyes for a moment if it's safe for you. And you can place your hands over your heart. Maybe feel your heartbeat and take a deep breath. Breathe in from the belly and exhale. Again, breathe in and exhale. One more time, breathe in and exhale. Maybe take a moment to think about what your intention is, whether it's to just bring more peace and stillness into your life, to get some clarity on something that's been worrying you, or just to feel good. Whatever that is, just call it in. And I'm going to begin the sound bath. Relax your shoulders. Relax your jaw and unclench your tongue. Just relax all the parts of your body. And close your eyes. Just take a moment to be still. Just allow your stress and worries to melt away. Invite healing, peace, and transformation into your presence. watching, just go ahead and place your hands over your heart. Take a deep inhale. May anything that's bothering you, anything that you've been carrying with you, any clarity that you need in any area of your life, you receive and find peace. And if you feel any emotion surrounding anything in your life, I encourage you to feel it so you can heal it. You don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You don't have to be a people pleaser or do anything that takes you off your path. Just remember who you are and remember how great you are and how your life matters and how important it is and how important it is to tap in what you are called here to do. And remember to be childlike in nature, laughing more, enjoying life a bit more, getting out in nature, moving your body, getting those endorphins, those healing endorphins pumping in the body. Surround yourself with positivity, people who love on you and support you. And all is well. Thank you all for joining in. And that was just a little mini sound bath. I obviously play the gong a bit more, and I use the koshi chimes, which is another fun instrument, and the ocean drum. And yeah, it's just, I mean, I'm so calm. Like sometimes I notice my eyes right after, like if I'm doing the sound bath, I'm like, my eyes got so low because I'm just like so zen. So I'm like very, very relaxed. So I hope everyone enjoyed it. Again, thank you so much, Erica and MZO. You know, you guys are doing something amazing, and I'm just grateful to be a part of it. You know, it's just so, and members only worldwide. You guys are awesome, and I love what you're doing. And yeah, thank you so much.
Yes, it was beautiful. Thank you and so peaceful. I'm over here like, I'm like, I'm ready to take a nap. No.
Yeah.
No, but I really, really do appreciate you coming on and teaching us all about this information. It's really, really important. And, you know, like I said, I have a personal belief in it. And I definitely see the need for more tools and resources amongst the community in terms of the things that we have, you know, can have access to now that, you know, we have educators and instructors here, you know, providing these types of services and bringing it to us. So I'm, you know, grateful for you. Like I said in the beginning, that not only did you, you know, find the tools that you needed to make sure that your mental health was, you know, positive, but you also ensured that you shared and paid it forward. And, you know, that is, you know, amazing. Like, you know, that is something that, you know, no one can take from you. And the fact that I know you've impacted so many lives through, you know, your own experiences, and that you're willing to be vulnerable and share that. So again, thank you for your time and giving us that information. Can you just recap one more time for those who weren't on the beginning, which instruments you used during?
For sure. So I use the crystal bowls. This is a crystal board, bowls made of crystal quartz, and it's tuned to 432 hertz. So it activates natural healing in the body. So your endocrine system, which is the seven chakras, is the glands that flow through you. It helps to align the body to get yourself in like that peace and that Zen space to be able to move intentionally and to feel free and grounded in your body. Because a lot of us are not in our body, we're in our head. So these sounds really help to activate that natural healing. I also use, this is a smoky quartz crystal. So it's made of smoky quartz, and this one's tuned to 528 hertz. So this is even a higher frequency. So it's actually made of smoky quartz crystal, which is, very rare. This is actually a very rare bowl. And then this one as well. This is 432 hertz too. This is aqua gold marine crystal. And yeah, these bowls can be pretty pricey too, but the benefits of it, outweigh all of it. But, and I also use Tibetan bowls. And Tibetan bowls are typically made of multiple different types of metals. So like nickel, copper, I can't even think of all the other ones, but yes, all the different metals they're made with. And then I also use the rain stick, which is one of my favorites, such a relaxing sound. And then I didn't play the gong fully, but this gong is a universal healing gong. It's also tuned to 432 hertz. So it works on all the seven chakras as well. They're actually made by mathematicians, believe it or not. And they're the frequency, they have a lot of different gongs. So this particular one is the universal one, but they also have different gongs that are tuned to the specific planets in the solar system. So they have like a Jupiter gong, a Saturn gong, and they take the frequency of the solar system, and I think it's the frequency, and they allow the way they make it to have that same vibrational frequency. And it's like the sound you would hear if there's no sound in space, but if you were to hear what it sounds like in space, it kind of give you like the sound of space when you hear these. So they're very, these are powerful. I'll play. Kind of how it sounds. Very powerful, especially when you're hearing them like too. That's a lot of people's favorite too. So the brain can't process the sound of the gong, believe it or not. So a lot of times when you hear, because there's so many different melodies in the gong, so the brain has to kind of become present more. So yeah, the gong is another powerful one as well. So yeah, I don't know if you have any other questions.
Thank you for recapping. Yeah, I have my bowl, but I haven't learned. Yeah.
Tibetan bowl. Yeah. So yeah, they all have different tonings too. So you hear like a higher note, a lower note, and that they're attuned to specific chakras in the body too. So they'll call like the crystal bowl. This one's a third eye note. So it helps activate the third eye. So it's like one of the higher notes on the scale as well. So yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, for recap, I did have one more question for you, and then I'll let you go.
Yeah.
Like using the bowls at home, maybe they don't have access to, a class. Is this something that people can teach themselves?
Yeah, so a lot of people, they have a lot of YouTube videos nowadays. I personally went through the actual training to really know and understand how to play the instrument. So it's something that you can learn and practice on your own. But I think having the training is like really about doing the inner work and clearing out all your mental blockages so you can really use these tools very much more intentionally, because you don't want to spread bad vibes. So like when you're playing these music, you want to make sure your energy's right. You want to make sure that you've done the inner work too before you go out and play for others. So, playing for yourself, I think, it's always a great thing. But if you're trying to go out and do it for the community, I think it's really important to do the work and also have a community that helps you, or a mentor, or someone who's teaching you or guiding you. Because, you know, a lot of times, you know, you might experience something and you might not know how, you know, what happened or understand it, you know, because some of the students you might get, they might have certain experience, you might not be able to share or help them. And that's where the community comes in. That's where the training comes in. That's where the technique comes in. So you to be equipped to do this work, you know, and be powerful at it too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's really important, like I said, and how to utilize the tools that we do have, and what opportunities there are for us. So I appreciate you sharing that, and you know, the importance of having, you know, mentors and
Yeah.
guides. And I mean, in the articles I was reading, it was saying like the importance of just having someone walking you through the sound bath, you know, kind of like a guided meditation, but having that kind of guided sound bath healing, you know, allows for more effective sessions.
Yeah, yeah. I also wanted to add that, you know, the body is 70% water. So like you think about, like you think how the water vibrates when you hit it. So like inside our body is like vibrating these frequencies because our body is 70% water. So a lot of times people feel like they had a detox. Sometimes a lot of people have to go to the bathroom after these sound baths. It really even helps like people's blood pressure. And I didn't mention that, but it really helps lower people's blood pressure too, because you're calming everything down and everything's just moving more naturally in the body. Even another thing, so we're actually born under 432 hertz, and the frequency of our earth is actually 432 hertz. So it's almost like coming home into this state of like being of how we first began. So it's even more, you know, you can go really, really deep into it. But it's really powerful, you know, listen to these sound waves and frequencies, and even our different organs in our body are, you know, tuned to a certain frequency. Like everything in our world is frequency, you know, you attract, like things attract, you know. So it's like if you're vibrating high, you might meet somebody high vibration just because you guys have that same vibe, you know. So it's just important to, you know, when you're doing this work, to also be aware of like the energy that you might attract. And then sometimes another interesting thing is that sometimes when your energy, you're vibrating at such a high frequency, you can even come across somebody who has such a low frequency who wants to get connected to you because they want some of that light too, you know, because positive attracts negative as well. So, I mean, that's just me going a little bit into the science, my nerdy science parts of it. But, you know, it can go, this teaching and, you know, teaching and learning sound healing is just an ongoing practice. It's something that, you know, you're not going to get it all at once. It's like a long-term like learning situation. And I'm constantly learning new things, and I'm constantly trying to better equip myself to be able to train and help the girls that I serve as well. So yeah.
Amazing.
And
Amazing.
animals like it too, by the way. Like
Really?
you have, like my cats and stuff, they like it. Sometimes when I play like the Native American flute, like they'll come in there and like they're like, oh my gosh, like they really like the sound of it. So it's like primordial too. It's like, you know, innately they attracted to these sounds.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. I and